So welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me is Vasil Shevchenko, former Transportation Minister of Ukraine. Vasil, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Recently I've been reading the Netherlands had recently recommitted and committed to service you some fighter jets this year. That sounds like something very promising.
Concerning fighter jet, sorry. I don't understand it clearly.
Okay. The Netherlands have committed to giving more fighter jets in 2025. Yeah.
Yes, but I haven't had this information, and because of it, I couldn't understand that it's clear information. Because we hope that Netherlands will supply this fighter jets during a year, and as a result of a meeting between top officials. From Netherlands and Ukraine's defense minister, Netherlands representative confirmed that Ukraine will have extra number of fighter jets, F-16. But it's extremely important for Ukraine, because you know that fighter jet, it's our serious hope to prevent Russia's blow. You know that Russians are using against Ukraine's military forces gliding bombs, and now they are launching it from farther distance than it was before. But thanks first part of fighter jets, Russians understood that Ukraine's forces are going to inflict blowback, because, for example, because of many blow to Russia's refinery and their storage with fuel for their bombers and the fighter jets. They have to move it further in the depths of Russia Federation, and because of it, the number of launching have cut 2 or 3 times. It's easier than before for Ukraine forces, but extra fighter jets will allow Ukraine forces to prevent, and we hope that there will be a weapon which would allow us to hold them at the distance from the battle line, and to prevent opportunity to use it previous century weapon which equipped the flying equipment and bombing civilians, because it isn't precision weapon as usual. They are bombing not only Ukraine's territory, but they are bombing occupied by Russians territory and own territory, because its equipment doesn't work correctly, and very often they can drop it at their own territory. And the more distance from battle lines, them more rare they will be able to inflict blow to our residential places and settlements and battle line. Yeah.
I want to ask this question because recently on January 30th, Secretary of State Marco Rubio in an interview stated that this war between Russia and Ukraine is unprovocative. He denounced the war. He said it shouldn't have happened. Do you foresee that the support of the United States continuously be there for Ukraine? Do you think there may be some form of common understanding that Putin say enough is enough and just finish with this war, that Ukraine can get ahead with their lives?
Yeah, but thanks him for his speech. But I saw that he hopes that Russia Federation will be ready to hold negotiations or is interested in ceasefire. We can see opposite action, and I think that Russia is using their favorite tactics to blackmail and spreading lie. Because you know that according to the Russia's interior information, they are not fighting with Ukraine. They are fighting against NATO bloc. And they commented, Russia's president commented for Russia's audience, for Russians, that he have to offense Ukraine because Ukraine was going to be NATO bloc member. And I think that this lie allows him to hold war and to blackmail Western countries. You can see that this idea to spread a lie and to hold negotiations concerning how to divide the world. Where will be zones of influence, powerful countries, and I think that he is crazy, and but nevertheless he follows this idea, and he is looking for the instruments to push newly elected United States president and to demand him to make Ukraine to give up. They are not looking for the instruments to signing ceasefire. They are looking for instruments for influence for United States, for NATO bloc, for European Union, and we can see that they have united. Marco Rubio have said that Russia has united North Korea, Iran, China, and they are fighting against Ukraine, spreading information that they are fighting against NATO bloc. And for example, this type of behavior has nothing with their maybe willing concerning ceasefire. You know that when Russia's president received an information that he would that he should start looking for the point of establishing ceasefire, how to establish ceasefire, and he answered that he is not interested in holding negotiations, looking for the pretext to refuse, because he is interested in being among powerful countries again. He is looking for the way back, and he is looking for the instruments to communicate. And I think that United States President Donald Trump have understood it, and because of it, he is not going to have direct negotiations before the ground for signing ceasefire is prepared. But before, I think that Russia's authorities will send different type of information from different sources concerning ceasefire, but they are ready to communicate with United States about ceasefire in Ukraine. And it's type of blackmailing and chantage, and because of it, I think that we will see it soon.
Well, you just confirmed something that I was trying to get at earlier, because I just came off an interview with a Russian American, and he indicated that Putin is not fighting Ukraine. He's fighting the Western world on Ukraine soil, right?
Yeah.
If that's what going through Putin's imagination, then you can actually say it's World War III. It's World War III. In essence, though, if you look at it realistically, he's actually fighting the Western world, because NATO nations and Ukraine allies are standing up for Ukraine by giving them and facilitating them with military equipment and so forth. On the other hand, you got the dictatorial nations like North Korea, China, Iran, and the same Russia assisting each other. So it is now, you are now in a situation where you can't claim this is just one nation fighting. It's just that the battle is taking place on Ukraine soil. You have the West versus the dictator countries. When this start to happen, I don't see anything called negotiations is going to happen anytime soon. What I see is the provision and growth for expansion of physical warfare. That's what I'm seeing happening in the picture. It's just a matter of time that if a ceasefire and some peace treaty aren't signed, that this is going to blow out of proportion. Right now, as it stands, I think the whole war, it was unprovocative, and which I explained to the gentleman earlier, is that Ukrainians leave their soil to go over to Russia to attack Russia. Russia lined up 250,000 of their men and equipment and came over to Ukraine. It was right there on the news. It was on world news. Everyone saw it. So it was an unprovocative war that Russia started, and it's over a philosophical view of what they think. So yes, it's Russia versus the West, but this who started it. What's your opinion?
I'd say that they are working together, and we can see that Russia is turning into China's proxy. And China is interested in domination, but it has own proxy, North Korea, and now we can see that it's Russia. Russia cannot acknowledge it, but really we can see that Russia exists thanks China and India, who's buying Russia's natural material, first of all oil, and during this war they have received dozen billions for waging war. Because they are interested in cheap resources. They have interior competitions among this so-called union of evil. But nevertheless, we can see that they are united. For example, you see that North Korea has sent to Ukraine about 15,000 soldiers. Now, part of them, they have lost from 30 to 50% personnel, and they have withdrawn it for recovery, and I think that they will have more North Korean soldiers, because Russia is unable to send many Russians, because their promises for benefits from this war, it's lie. Mostly they are saying they are sending Russians to die here and as Koreans to die here.
But by the way, did Ukraine capture any of North Korean soldiers?
Yes. Ukraine's special forces operation stormtroops have captured Northern Korea with their notebook, with their recommendation, and with information from inside. And Russians, because of before Russians were blocking information and died North Korean soldiers, they were eliminating before Ukraine forces could reach them, and then Ukraine forces managed to capture, and there was an information in the media concerning socializing secret service with these representatives. And you know that they have sent, for example, North Korea, if we have started speaking about it, they promised to supply to Ukraine for next year 150 ballistic missiles long range, which is able to hold 1 ton explosion and explosive materials. They decided to send to Russia's artillery because Ukraine forces have eliminated a lot of Russia's military vehicle equipment, artillery, anti-artillery system, carriers, and etc. And they decided to send it to Ukraine. And now we can see that China is sending spare parts for producing different type of drones. First of all, it's drone first person view, FPV drones. They are sending to Russia spare parts for producing it. And we saw that every night Ukraine is under shelling by Iranian drones, which has more than 100 kilometers explosions. And today, after blow, for example, in one region, they killed 7 persons and wounded 6 persons because Ukraine's forces are able to intercept about 90%, 90+%, but 5 or 10% can damage facilities and can damage residential houses, residential areas, because we have understood, all world have understood that Russians are fighting with civilians, with children, with elderly, with all people they are fighting. They are not ready to fight against good armed military units, but they are fighting with civilians effectively, trying to spread fear around Ukraine. And to demonstrate that they are powerful for Western countries, but for Western countries, it's choke their type of waging war. And it's a human waging war, and it's a war without any limits and without any standards. It's a country which is killing all people. And I think that this type of waging war have demonstrated their real willing. And for example, there are many rumors concerning ceasefire, that both sides have to make step back, but Ukraine is occupied. Ukraine is aggressor. If we stop fighting, we will disappear. We cannot stop fighting because before Ukraine forces are fighting, we exist. And we cannot stop because this type of negotiations they are trying to spread, and rumors spreading questions around the world media that maybe this negotiations will lead to the ceasefire, and why we will send to Ukraine weapon, why we have to give Ukraine's military vehicles. But every day Ukraine is losing own citizens, own military forces personnel, and because of it, I'd say that all this imitations Russia is spreading is type to attempt to deceive Western countries and to sit at the same table for discussion about the world future. It's their goals, not ceasefire in Ukraine.
Do you have an idea approximately how many North Koreans had been captured in Ukraine? Any ideas?
I know that first time they got to Ukraine forces, there was eliminated more than one platoon Korean soldiers, and them was killed Muslim soldiers which were located in their facilities, and here we don't know how much they were killed, but them during the storm operation, Ukraine forces captured Koreans, and it's a few soldiers who are alive. And they are able to comment, and we have had many interesting moments, and we were surprised that people can live, can have this type of life. But you know that that Koreans changed tactics storming Ukraine's fortifications. They cancelled storming Ukraine's fortifications in the small groups, and have to storm only big groups. It's good target for Ukraine's artillery and drones, but they did it just to prevent opportunity Koreans to run to Ukraine side, and very often they were killing own soldiers to prevent their opportunity to run to Ukraine side, to go to the Ukrainian forces. Yeah.
Do you have any knowledge to how many Ukrainian soldiers had died so far?
To be honest, I don't know. Nobody knows because it's a secret. But we have, according to the Ukraine's president opinion, it's more than 40,000 Ukraine soldiers. But it's without prisoner missed in action. And it wasn't calculated to answer when Russians were trying to demonstrate that Ukraine has big casualties, and after that, Ukraine's president have to answer. But I don't know about it, but I know that we have for Ukraine it's really big casualties, but nevertheless Ukrainian forces are fighting, and now the most important question it's weapon to have opportunity to prevent, because you know the last months Ukraine forces are attacking Russia's refinery because you know that sanctions don't work effectively, and Ukraine forces decided to help it, and now every night Ukraine's drones are hitting Russia's refinery pipelines and military sphere plants and facilities. And now we can see that they are unable to export their oil from different places. They are unable to fuel their tanks. And very often we could see that they are attacking Ukraine's defense line by bicycles, civilian cars. And I think that it results of Ukraine's blow. And now we can see that Ukraine's blow, Ukraine have to produce something cheap and effective, and it appears it's drones. And now we have different type of drones, and now Ukraine is able to hit targets up to 2,000 kilometers inside of Russia Federation. And Ukraine's Secret Service and military intelligence service are launching these drones to prevent opportunities Russia's military to fuel their tanks and carriers to attack Ukraine's fortifications. Yeah.
Great. So you would say then that Ukraine is making some headway and success now in Russia in terms of diluting their power.
Ukraine are not targeting civilian targets. Ukraine is focused on to prevent Russia's blow, and
Absolutely.
we are following international standards, and we are following our partners' recommendations, and we are not fighting with civilians.
Absolutely.
Our targets, it's Russia's military. And this way, Ukraine's have inflicted many blows, and I hope we will have further this kind of operation, and hope that our friends and our partners and United States newly elected president will understood that with whom he's going to speak and what about he is going to speak, because it depends on United States.
Yes. Well, Vasil, we come to the end of our program. Sure was an enlightening one. And to all those who have been tuning in, have a great day.